What's going on, y'all, and welcome on in. Today I think we're gonna have a fun video to go over. I asked my Twitch chat the other day what they think their biggest mistakes they made in E7 thus far is, and today we'll go over what they said, what kind of mistakes were made, and then hopefully how to avoid them. Maybe you guys can share the pain if you made similar mistakes, but really I want you guys to learn and maybe just take a few examples. A lot of the stuff you're gonna see is stuff I've gone over in my old videos, in my tips and tricks, or just general progression guides, but it's nice to recap it and see specific examples of people making those mistakes. And first, why don't we go over a few that I made myself, alright? So stay tuned, thanks for stopping by, let's get on with the video. Alrighty, y'all, let's cover two quick mistakes Carr made before we go over what the biggest mistakes that my Twitch chat told me about. That would be the first one, not promoting my heroes using their dupe copies when I wanted their imprints. Instead, I used Phantasmas. In this big example, Sage Ball, I had 4 copies of Fireball, and in my excitement, since I had Sage Ball, he was my first ML5, he was so bad for so long, but when he got buffed, I was so excited to build him. I just rushed, used 5 copies of level 5 50 doggos, or sorry, 5-star doggos, when instead I had 4 fireballs I could have thrown in and used those 4 phantasmas towards another 6-star promotion, because I know I wanted the imprint concentration anyways. That was a big mistake on my end. So remember, just like with Ram, guys, I'm sure a lot of y'all have this unlocked by now, but in case you didn't, with Ram, make sure you use her copies, those free copies you're going to get, to use those to promote to 6-star. You get 5 copies total, so you can use all of them. In case you had 4 or something, you missed one, use 4 plus a Phantasma. That way you can get the imprints. It just saves you a lot of fodder. And there is one scenario, guys, where you may not want to do this, and that would just be if you're waiting for an ML, or you know you're going to be getting an ML soon. Vivian has no ML5 counterpart yet, but I'm happy with her at level 50. But as you can see here, I have 4 extra copies. I'm not throwing them into her just yet, just because I predict we might be getting ML Vivian soon. Okay, I can talk about that in a future video. But the second biggest mistake I think I made, guys, would be not locking my gear and artifacts. That might seem like common knowledge, but I know some of you out there watching, be honest with me, don't lock your stuff too out of laziness, just forgetfulness, whatever it is. And I always told my Twitch chat, because they get so triggered by me not locking my stuff, until I make a huge mistake which will force me to do it, I'm not gonna bother because I'm just too lazy. Well, guys, I recently discovered I did make a huge mistake, so I might start locking all my stuff. But I recently discovered, guys, I have this artifact, recently buffed, one of the best just in general, especially for Vildred and Arbiter Vildred, if you didn't know. Sword of Summer Twilight. Guys, as you can see here, I own it, right? Meaning I pulled it sometime in the past. So it was in my journal, but I don't have it anywhere. I checked my storage, I checked everywhere. It doesn't exist in my inventory, so I must have either foddered it, sold it for powder, enhance it, something. It's gone. So basically, guys, I need to start locking all my stuff, because this is one of the mistakes I just discovered. Maybe I made more in the past, but start locking your stuff, guys. You'll regret it in the long run, okay? Without further ado, let's go ahead and cover some of my my Twitch chat members, their biggest mistakes, and how to avoid them, alright? Today's video is sponsored by Gemstone Legends. I've been playing it and having an absolute blast. It's one of the coolest new puzzle RPGs of 2021. In this game, you'll find dozens of amazing characters that you can party up with and collect. You'll find a cool and interesting campaign mode that you can adventure through, and also a massive artifacts and items that you can equip said heroes and characters with. The game is completely free for both iOS and Android. I've personally been liking the game because of the wide cast of characters, you know, summoning, finding out what they do, and then of course, eventually fighting in PvP and encountering all the raid bosses. Now let's do my favorite part and take a look at some of the heroes that I keep mentioning that you can collect. Guys, we have Aurora here, a specialist support from the Dark Followers. I think the Dark Followers will be my absolute favorite. And at the bottom here from Vampire Dames, ooh, Vanessa, Kyra. Who's that? Valentina? Get at me with these. Check these out, boys. You can find me in-game under the name Car6, that's S-I-X spelled out capital S. So all you gotta do, guys, to come join me is use the links in the description below to download Gemstone Legends for yourself, or I'll pop on the screen a QR code that you can scan. Also, guys, after installing, you'll receive a $50 bonus, including the new character Moralia. All you gotta do is complete the tutorial. So download the game now. Big thank you to Gemstone Legends, and let's get back to the video. Okay, y'all, let's go ahead and cover some of my Twitch chat's biggest mistakes that they shared with me. Let's go ahead and start with Robo Penguin here, and hopefully I can put up on the screen and make it fancy, like a nice image. Let's see how good Car is at editing. But Robo Penguin says, I would trade gold transmits for the 4 to 5 star hero recruit, only did easy NPC arena battles, and was only partway through the first part of the main adventure. He follows up by saying, I've only recently completed the very first floor in Labyrinth, floor 67 Abyss, and just started farming Wyvern. So I think he's just showcasing the mistakes he made that also, he said, kind of hindered his progress. Okay, he just recently found my channel. Big shout out to Robo Penguin. But let's go and cover line by line the mistakes he made. Number 1, he would trade gold transmits for the 4 to 5 star hero recruits. So if we go to the shop, guys, I'm sure you've all seen this by now. It's one of the juiciest things you can buy in the shop. You can trade 6 gold transmits for 5 galaxy bookmarks or the 4 to 5 star hero summon ticket. By the way, guys, if you have straws, I would recommend if you use them a lot, to get his imprints first in case they leave the shop. Okay, these will stay here forever. But that's a side note. He was saying he was buying these 4 to 5 star hero summon tickets, and believe it or not, y'all, I know a lot of people do this as well. Now, I do think it is considered a mistake. It is an option, and ultimately this is a game, so you should play how you want. But in the beginning especially, guys, I think it is a huge mistake to avoid these Galaxy bookmarks. Now, you might be thinking, Car, who cares? I've never gotten an ML5 from Galaxy bookmarks. They're so rare, I'm not even going to bother anymore. Well, guys, don't forget, I agree with you, by the way. I've gotten very few ML5s from Galaxy bookmarks. They seem terrible. Some people have all the luck with them. I personally haven't, but I think they're way better than the 4 to 5 star hero summon ticket, because it's the only way to get Moonlights, for the most part, besides random Covenant summons, especially Moonlight 4 stars, okay? That's the biggest thing. There's so many game-breaking or just powerful Moonlight 4 stars. Go ahead and name a few guys off the top of my head. Champion Zerato, Tempest Surin, Challenger Dominial, Auxiliary Lots if you want to play some Cleave in Arena, things like that. General Purgus for Wyvern and PvP. You need to get them somehow, and the best way to get them, right, until they add them to Mystics or something like Mystic Pities, is through just random summonings, Mystics, etc. But this is just another option to get those very powerful 4 stars, and you all know it's like a 25% plus rate to get shinies. It feels a lot higher to get ML4s. You're going to be swimming in them eventually, but you have to use them. You have to use Galaxy bookmarks in the beginning. It's so much more powerful than a random 4 to 5 star hero summon ticket, because there's so many more. There's so many 5 star and even 4 star, you know, red, green, blue units that are just not excellent for progression, and you have a high likelihood of getting 4 star red, green, blues, which are much, much weaker on average than the 5 star MLs, okay? So always grab those. Next on Robo Penguin's list is he only did easy NPC battles. I don't know how many people actually make this mistake. Let me go ahead and claim my Skystones here, boys. Farming Challenger for just AFK Farming Challenger for the easy Skystones. But in the NPC challenges, guys, you have normal, hard, and hell. And maybe for new players, they don't understand, or maybe you didn't even see that there's a normal, hard, hell mode. But guys, even on hell mode, right? All of these are very, very easy. I think some of them might be hard, but now that you have like RB or Spec Tenny from your connections, these should all be a quick cleanup. Always do hell mode for the extra conquest points and Skystones. Never do normal when you start unlocking them, okay? Okay, guys, moving on to the next mistake. This is from Tribcha, and he says, my biggest mistake was wasting too many Molads on units I never use now, or over Molad some units like my plus 15 Furious. And he ends with a lol. Guys, this is one we all kind of are aware of, but we really need to hammer home using Molads efficiently. I know Smilegate's given a lot more free Mola, but I promise, especially after big events like these ReZero characters followed up by the summer units and then Summer Ice area, you will lack Molas. Compound that with the fact that they're going to rebuff old heroes you may have been sitting around. You will run out of Molas, even if they're being super generous, unless you're wailing out and buying Molas from the shop, which a lot of people are not, right? My free-to-play. So make sure you always save Molas. I have Mola guides, or I have efficient units to level. Maybe I'll do an updated one for August of 2021. But in his example, he said he upgraded a unit like Furious to plus 15. As we all know, guys, I don't think I have one built, so I was going to pull one up. But Furious is primarily used as a debuffer defense break unit for Wyvern 13. He can do some damage, but typically we only need enough Molas to make sure he has the -1 skill cooldown, and then the he needs some in skill 2, right? You guys correct me, whatever it is, but he only needs a few into skill 2, skill 3 in the beginning. Plus 15 isn't the biggest great use for him, because he's not a typical damage dealer, more for debuff, so we really only want to spend as little as possible. And on top of that, we could have also just used a unit like Terranor Guard instead if we didn't need the crit chance, etc. But you know, That's preference. Just make sure you use molas wisely. Before you click that enhance button, make sure you're really committed to the character. You know they're future proof. If you don't know what units are future proof, check one of my old videos. I'll make an updated one on best units to promote, etc. But yeah, try to find units that are good in all areas of the game. Furious could be used in a lot of areas, but you don't need a plus 15 him, for example. So make sure you don't over mola. Use 3 stars when they're available, especially for areas like PvE. And when you really want to commit to a plus 15, make sure, you know, at least in the beginning, guys, because at the end, play however you want, play for fun, play your favorite units, even if they're underpowered. But in the beginning, guys, to progress as fast as possible, make sure you only use molas on the best units that are applicable or universal, able to be used in a lot of areas, PvE, PvP, etc. Okay? Alrighty, let's lightning round a few more here, guys. From Borwin, he said, I focused so hard on Wyvern that I didn't have a team for raid or anything else for so long because of my bad luck on rolls. Guys, so Borwin he said he focused so hard on Wyvern, he started neglecting all the other areas of the game. Now, you know, Kara recommends rushing Wyvern as fast as possible because those hunts are the best way to get resources and gear, but don't neglect the other areas. Start at least planning, right? What you want to do next, because after Wyvern, if you have Wyvern 13 unlocked, guys, whatever you want to do next is up to you, but for the most part, at least raid and hell raid, very, very important to make sure you're at least planning. Start promoting units that are good for there. Abyss expeditions, get all those unlocked as well after hunts, and don't only do hunts with all your energy non-stop. Make sure you're also at least planning and preparing for the other areas of the game. And then PvP as well, guys. When you're ready, you know, you want to spice it up. If you're just farming forever, you're gonna burn yourself out. Make sure you just at least start looking and planning the other areas that you want to proceed to next. Okay. All right, guys, and this one is from Yameen's. Wasting my first 10 ML coins for molas, would have 40 by now. Not as big of a spender. So a lot of y'all may not even have access to this shop yet, which could be considered good luck, or maybe you're just so new you haven't even had a chance to pull any Moonlight 5s. But guys, the Galaxy Coin shop gets unlocked as soon as you get a single Moonlight 5 dupe. And the biggest thing, I think the most important part for a lot of players here is the access. When you have 40 coins or 4 dupes, getting these, you know, ML5s straight up purchasable with 40 coins. Now, Yameen's here said, big shout out to Yameen's, he said, I wasted some ML coins on Molagor. So let's just talk about the shop real fast. This may not be applicable to a lot of y'all, but in case you're watching, you had either insane luck or insanely bad luck getting a lot of dupes instead of new heroes. In this shop, guys, always avoid getting these bottom 3. Reforged Molagor and Epic Artifact Charms, I think, are just complete waste of time. The only things that are great, of course, is the heroes for 40 coins like we just mentioned. And I think this is also very nice too, guys. I'll show a quick example. If you know you love gear and you plan to play RTA or PvP super seriously, always take a quick look at this shop. You can refresh 30 times, and if you find a perfect piece here for 2 coins, I think it's very worth it. Now, if you're at 30 coins or closer to 40, maybe save in case you need some very good ML5 coming up. You never know what might show up there, but if in the meantime, if you have over 40, or if you know you're only at 10 or so, you could potentially get up to like 5 pieces a month or more, however many, or 4 pieces a month. But you can refresh 30 times to see rolling for, think of it like that perfect gear crafting event, guys. You just keep re-rolling this 30 times. You can see 3 options, and in case you see like a crit damage one on immunity or speed with like perfect substats, I think it's definitely worth picking up. So just check it out in case you have coins, but this is more of a, you know, depends if you have this access or not. Okay, guys, let's wrap it up with 2 last mistake examples. First one being from Solidus Dub, who said, I fed Specimen Says into Says because I was upset that he was so terrible when I got him. Back before they did unit balance changes. So this was way back when, guys. Remember I mentioned Sage Ball I had for the longest time. I hated him too, but I didn't throw him away. Unlike Solidus Dub, you never know when Smilegate will buff weaker units, and they have shown, you know, on the regular they do balance patches, and they like to buff the weaker ones to kind of bring them more in line. Another example from Morosuke said, I used all my extra Charlotte copies, enough for Triple S, to promote other heroes, then LQC spooked him. Well, guys, not only did he get an LQC where he could have used those Charlotte copies for, nowadays, Charlotte is one of the best bruisers in the game. She is absolutely insane. I think she's as strong as Carrot. I know that's kind of controversial, but she's extremely, extremely good. So make sure you just always keep units around. You never know when they're going to be used for other stuff. More so than ever, and I'm having to shift my mentality on this. Try to save artifacts and heroes, even ones that are not great, because with how many changes Smilegate is introducing, you never know when that, you know, artifact or hero will become godlike. Okay. Anyways, guys, once again, the sponsor of this video was Gemstone Legends. Don't forget to install it using the links below, or use the QR code to scan and come join me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.